Welcome back to BenUnlocked, and this is episode 7 of Colin FC to the Premier League and Ultimate Road to Glory. So, again, a bit like the previous episodes, this is purely now about the club expectations meeting, and let's see what they want this time around. Well, the similar familiar theme of working within the wage budget, attacking football, possession football, entertaining football, and high tempo pressing football are all required. They've actually removed from last time round saying don't sign players over 30. This now is saying that we can have maximum 1 year contracts for players over 32, which again I don't think we need to be worried about because we're actually aiming to sign late teenagers and early mid-20s for the sort of players that we want, mainly because we can try and develop them a little bit more and we can actually play them for more than one season, hopefully. So having a look at the 5-year plan then, in this season 32-33, they want us to become established in League One. 33-34 exactly the same. 34-35, they want us to actually an established league rather than working towards it, and the same in 35-36. So I think we'll go for that. That seems perfectly fine to me. So you can see there that Colin have actually been granted an improved youth category rating. Now the stadium's immaculate, which it should be as we keep expanding it league after league, mainly because we're forced to, not that the board are allowing me to. Training is adequate, youth facilities are basic, and then corporate is also adequate. And then if we have a look at the squad planner then, that's currently where we sit in terms of team average ability. We do need somebody else to be as a backup for Kai because currently we don't have any depth in that position. We just have Kai or would be onto the youth players. And then actually it does look like the defensive midfield role, possibly the left back and the attacking winger on the right hand side might want some improvements. We have a look at our budgets then. Well, we don't have any transfer budget this time round. We did spend 250,000. We have got a wage budget available to us of an extra £15,500 per week, and we're currently spending around 30. We don't actually have a scouting budget, but this will be amended in the not too distant future. The beginning of each season, the board seems to throw us some money for that. I think what we will try and do here, not that the board's going to agree with this, and we can't actually press the thing that I wanted to do, was I was going to ask them if they'd actually expand the stadium. Unfortunately not. So let's try and ask if they'll boost any of the budgets then. So here's the 3 meeting requests from the board to discuss the request that we had. They've initially rejected them but are allowing board meetings for each one. I could probably almost guarantee that they'll reject all 3 of them even with the meetings, but we'll see what we can do. So let's discuss the first one then, which is about increasing the transfer budget because they didn't give us any. So it actually says just at the top there, it says they're due to reevaluate the club's budget shortly, so we'd suggest you wait until then. Request denied, albeit it sounds like for now. And then looking at the wage budget, despite our best choice, they won't. Next season's transfer budget, that'll be a no because of the club's current financial situation. Let's just play it on a little bit further until we get our scouting then. The club's facing a tax bill, yay, of around 240,000 over the upcoming financial records for the previous 12. The estimate is based on the taxable profits being approximately 958,000. Our commercial summary then, got one new sponsorship deal which is worth about 18,000 in the year, which looks like it could be the kit sponsor because it says the most notable new deal is additional kit sponsor, a 1-year deal worth 18,000, which is actually threefold on the previous deal. Annual revenue totals, well, sponsorship was 28,000, which was up 111%. Corporate and hospitality was 86,000, up 82%. Matchday commercial and retail was actually 200,000, down 9%. Broadcast revenues was 359,000, and as you can see there, that's where the money starts to really roll in because the broadcast revenues was actually up 1,648%. And then the competition prize money then 399,000, which is down 11. And then when we look at the merchandise sales for the season, it was 81,000. Non-domestic sales, though, however, this is the interesting bit, amounting to 8,000. So what we'll try and do with the increased reputation each time round is the better we do, the higher level we play, the more this will grow. And then we've got one that says, following the club's promotion to Sky Bet League 1 from League 2, ticket prices have gone up. The average ticket and season ticket prices will be increased 5% to £21 and £355 respectively. And then it says these changes are projected to result in a drop of 50% to the club's yearly earnings. Again, it's a little bit strange. And then we've got the new scouting budget then of 51,000. As the board have indicated, they won't allow for the scouting of any nations. The scouting budget we used to pay for senior, youth and any individual scouting trips outside of permitting scouting range. You were also able to choose how frequently you want to receive the email recommendations. Well, let's have a look at the scouting then. Let's adjust some scouting. In fact, first, let's change the recruitment budget. So the transfer and wage, If we can push some from the wage into the transfer, even doing that gives us a better part of 10 grand, just over 10 grand. And then we adjust our scouting budget thereafter. We'll just give that a little bit of a tick to work out that we've done that. So we've got some player contracts that are due to expire in a month. Well, we are going to set Mark Helm for release. Zach Braverman, I think we might just offer him a basic contract saying he's going to be an emergency backup just because he's going to be there should we need him. I think that's what we'll do now. We'll just say that we're curious. He isn't interested. Ask about market interest then. And we do need to put him down to emergency backup. It's currently on 900. We're going to get rid of the unused. We can keep the extension. Let's just try and drop this wage back. It's only £25 more than where he is now. With a very little loyalty bonus and only 1,000 for an agent fee. So that looks absolutely fine to me. Set Harvey Foster for release. Charlie Holt, we're absolutely going to offer a contract basing on that. Currently agreed as a regular starter. But I'm going to see if he can take a squad player. Currently, yes, he can. That's a little bit less than where we've agreed, so we shouldn't be as unhappy. Don't like the yearly wage rise, don't like promotion rise, the appearance fee, and don't like any of them. I'm expecting him to want quite a bit more money now. Will he take 1,000? Currently, no, which is a shame. Jimmy Sinclair, we'll set him for release. Patson Powell, this might be the time where we actually say goodbye. And he's had us with us for a long while, so let's just set him for release. Nathan Tinsdale, same again. Youth, we'll set them for release too. So there's Braverman's contract renewal then up. So he's agreed, which he'll do for us. So here's one of the interesting things that we did last season. Now, I actually struggled to see him on pending transfers or transfers in, but we had Luis Masengo, Pascal Knight, Ola Millikan Ogwuche, Pascal Foley, and Kevin Krings. Now, a lot of these I found from foreign leagues, and actually a couple of them were on amateur contracts, and I was gobsmacked that they actually had no fees attached to them. When you look at Louis Masengo, well, he's a 4-star potential 5 for where we are, and he currently plays in the centre of the park and can play attacking mid too. So one of the signings that we had then was Kevin Krings from Hoogstraten. Now, Kevin is 18 years old and can play on either side, and he's currently a 3-star potential 4.5. Very, very good and exactly the type of player that we want. When we look at where he's been, how much he's played, well, you can see there he's actually played in the first National League in Belgium, which I believe is just underneath their top division. He's had 54 games, 7 assists and 4 players of the match. And considering he's in the defence, that's not bad at all. And then we've got Pascal Foley from La Louvière Centre. Now he can also play at the back line. He can play as a centre-back, which I think we'll be using him as, but he can also play as a right-back too. And then when we have a look, he's played 61 games, scored once, assisted 3, had 1 player of the match. He's actually from a Belgian team that now currently doesn't have a division by the look of it. And again, he's 18, 4-star, potential 5. Then we have Olamilikan Ogwuche from RS Varem. So he's a 3-star, potential 5. Again, plays as a defender, but he's 18 years old. We have to keep stressing how young these players are. And he's played 64 games, scored twice, assisted 4, and been player of the match 3 times. Then we've got Pascal Nate from RFC Mandel United. He's currently a 3.5 potential 5 and plays up front. He's played 60 games. He's scored 34, assisted 8, had 6 players of the match. And then we've got Louis Masengo, current 4 potential 5, and he plays in the middle of the park. And we got him from KSC Blankenberg, and he's played 60 games, scored 14, assisted 11, player of the match 3. Let's have a look now that they've actually come into the business, and let's see when we look at the squad planner now, see what that does. Well, it's improved the left back. The centre back's actually dropped now, but I think that'll improve should we remove a couple of the players from that. So that's currently what it's done for our positions and where we are. So we could still want, so it does still look like we need a defensive midfielder for sure, and then we need a winger on the right. But then other than that, I don't think we're too bad. We could potentially need a winger on either side, but certainly one on the right and then the defensive mids. Nothing currently in the recommendations that looks like it's worth taking right now. Nothing with an ability that we can at least play with to start anyway. So this might be a bit of a test for us. So this is the Carabao Cup, the first round that we've actually got, and we're actually playing against a local team, and we're playing against Burnley. Now, currently, this is how we're lining up. So we've got Crampton in the net, which is very familiar. We've got Krings on the right, Bolle in the centre, Schulz in the centre, Ajrulahu on the left, Blight, Ulaneers, Heibrecht, Miller, Salmons, and Nate. And Schulz is actually on loan from VfL Wolfsburg. And I mean, look at that current ability and potential. And considering that we play them as fullbacks, he's got one of the best ratings you can have there. But yet he's only 425,000. So what we might want to try and do there is see if at some point, although he's not interested right now, to see if we can actually get him. The downside to that is he's on £27,000 a week, which is probably a lot of our squad. So let's go to the match and just see how good or how bad this will actually go. Who knows what's going to happen here. But I have a good feeling that Burnley might win here. Let's find out. So we're going to tell the team no one's expecting anything, so let's go out and play without pressure. Nothing to lose, but everything to gain. So this is a very different turf moor to real life. The long side has changed somewhat. So has the Jimmy Mack stand. To Burnley with a kick-off then. Let's see how this goes. So early then, they've given the ball away. We've got a Burnley player, number 11, that's clapping. Don't know why. A very stale first half. But we can take some positives in that. Our expected goals is actually higher than Burnley. We're not doing as well on passes completed or crosses completed with only 5%. We're even on fouls and we got a yellow card relatively early on. We've run about the same. We're about the same average. Let's just address the team then. And we are just going to say we're happy with the performance so far because we've had nothing to lose really. And if anything, we've started to grow into the game a little bit more. And look at the reaction. Second half underway then, and we have kick-off. Schultz with the ball. Ajrulahu. Forward to Salmon. Highlight comes to nothing. The highlight then looks like we've got a free kick from deep. Schmulder with it. Ball comes in towards the middle. Heads as far as Salmon. Salmon has a wild shot. Hits the roof of the net. Unfortunate. But Ulineers with the ball. Salmons picks it up. Plays it out wide to Heibrecht. Cross going to come in. Just manages to keep it from going out. Plays it back to Krings, who we're going to sub before long. Just gets past his man. Drags the play back to Flight. Flight has a shot. Hits the bar. But yet we don't collect the loose ball. Very unfortunate. Salmons then intercepts play. Plays it through to Flight again. With the highlight then. We lose the ball. Burnley on the counter then. Williams Barnett. Woodward, Gomez. Woodward goes past the man, drives into the net, passes it through to the centre, and Burnley tap it in. Now that's a very shocking goal. We've got to do better than that. The highlight then, Schmulder with it, plays it out to Heibrecht. Do we manage to go forward? No, it just cuts inside and keeps driving. Goes back out wide, passes it back for White. White plays it back to him. Comes inside the box. He's going to have a shot. Has a shot. Brits catches it. Highlight then. Schmulder plays it to Flight. Flight plays it to White. White's driving down the wing now then. Just plays it back to Flight. Keeps hold of the ball. Comes across into mid to Ulineers. Ulineers foot to Organtolu. Maguire with it. Donovan. Donovan 1-1. Fantastic. Let's praise the team there because we absolutely deserve that then. 83rd minute. Squares the ball. But Ulineers then just sees Organtolu out wide. Organtolu Plays it to Maguire. Maguire sees Donovan on his own. Donovan then, first time of asking, near post, 1-1. Keeping not much time at all to react to that. Another highlight then, so Schmudder with a corner. Corner comes in to near post, to the centre. Oh, very unlucky. Very, very unlucky. Another corner then. Schmudder, ball comes into the centre. Gets headed out, only as far as Schmudder again. Plays it through to Donovan. Donovan plays it to Schmudder. Schmudder kicks it back across. Tolu makes it 2-1. We've done it into injury time. Let's drop this back now. Let's put it back as cautious. Absolutely, we're going to proceed with that. So again, we've got to do slightly better with these set pieces. But we'll take it. Wasn't sure where we were going to end up at this point. I thought the ball here was just going to go out. But we managed to then just have Tolu coming across the near post and then just taps it in. Burnley switched off. That seals it. Colne 2, Burnley 1. Fantastic. We can't ask for more than that. Address the team. We're actually going to say that wasn't genuinely pretty special. No one gave us the chance, but they played. Congratulations. And look at the response. Very good. This is the worry though now. Following that, it looks like we've ended up with some injuries. We've definitely got the 2 from the game, and then we've got Sean Sumner as well. And then that there just saying we've got 5,000 for winning against Burnley in the first round. So who is Sean Sumner? Sean Sumner is a player that we've actually got out on loan to Penrith. And by the looks of that, he's got a moderate hamstring strain. So we will absolutely say leave to the physio. We'll talk to him just because he's a young lad, and we'll just say try not to worry. And then these are the ones we need to look at. Pascal Knight, 2 to 5 days, not too bad. A twisted knee, 7 to 3 to 7. So not the worst that it could have been in terms of injuries. So let's see who else we get. And there we have it. It's just come through there. So it looks like we're going to play Mansfield Town in the second round. And then just at the bottom there, because we've played him in a couple of the leagues, and it says it's noting that we haven't lost to Mansfield in the last 3 meetings. And if we look there, we're actually away to Mansfield, which is slightly unfortunate, because it would have been better if we were at home to get some of those gate receipts. So let's just see how the rest of this goes then, and I'll come back with anything further. Well, we're just about halfway through then now, our Sky Bet League 1 campaign. And where have we been? Well, friendlies didn't particularly go too well, with 3 wins and 3 losses. The first month itself wasn't too bad because we beat Burnley away in the Carabao Cup first round. Not a very long trip to travel there. Then we had 2 draws, but the rest of the month we actually won each game. Turning then to September, things took a little bit more rocky. We beat Bournemouth 1-0 at home. Bournemouth. Then we ended up losing straight away to Watford, and then we won on penalties in the Vertu Trophy in the league stage there, and then we didn't actually manage to pick up a win or a loss in the rest of September. Not particularly too great. And then things changed. October we won every game that we had, actually being the 4th round of the Carabao Cup there against Southampton. Then in November we played Chester, and it was actually televised. We won 2-0 away. We actually got beat to Aston Villa under 21s in the group stage of the Vertu Trophy. Then we had 3 wins, a draw, a loss, and then we actually beat Wigan in the second of our 2 games against them within the month, within 3 days. We actually beat them on penalties. I mean, when you look at that there, just look how many penalties were actually taken in that shootout. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we both failed to actually score, and then we had another 3. So as you can see there, we actually went back around the team again. And then into December, well, we won on penalties against Lincoln after a 0-0 in normal time. Not as many penalties in this one. And then we played Middlesbrough in the Carabao quarter final, and that was 3-3 again. Penalties. So some very tight games coming here. And then when we pay attention to January, so we're currently in the midst of the January transfer window at the minute, we actually drew a 0-0 at home to Arsenal, and we're about to play them soon in February. We beat Norwich 4-1 in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Then we've got Portsmouth in the next game that we play, and then we've got Aston Villa in the FA Cup 4th round. So you can see where we're probably going to start to fall short now. So in the league then, where are we? Well, actually, at the minute, we're 4th. We're trailing 6 points behind Wigan, but Wigan have played an extra game than we have. Our goal difference is probably about right for where we are. And as you can see, again, our latest form hasn't particularly helped the league position that we're in. But we are only a single point behind Lincoln. And if we were to try and get into automatic promotion places, well, there's only 4 points in it. So it's all still to play for yet, considering that we've got 46 games to play and we've currently played 31. So about another 15 left. Recruitment then, what have we got? Where have we got? Well, one thing that I've seemed to find, at least in this league, and it could have always been the case, is that we seem to be getting a lot of decent free agents from Belgium that are all very young. We've got Jordan Heartbreak there, 18. I mean, look at the supposed value. Then we actually had Ralph Schultz, but we actually terminated that loan because we were getting a few decent young players, so I thought it better just to try and develop them so we could have them long term. We've got Vittorio Ulaniers from Pau, and again, you can see he's played 24 times and 5 off the bench too. He's an 18-year-old defensive midfielder, and again, look at potentials and look at the supposed values that are attributed to these players. We've got Eduardus Michaud from FSCSM, 20 appearances, 15 from the bench. Again, he's another defensive midfielder. We actually play 2 in the formation that we've got. And again, stupid values when you look at it. And a lot of these were free agents. I can't stress that enough. Then I've got João Lopez, who came from Nancy, 28 appearances and 7 from the bench. Again, he's 18 years old. He's got a stupid value. And then when you look there, he actually was on a free again. We've got Gerald Evans from Rupel Boom, 14 appearances and 8 from the bench. Again, look at the values. Absolutely ridiculous. Thomas Layson for RUS Givry, 18 appearances and 4 from the bench. Again, silly values. Dan Stas from Lyra Liers, 15 appearances and 7 from the bench. Value very good as well. Then we've got Stanislas Onyumbe from RC Michelin, 11 appearances and 3 from the bench. Again, we've just got to keep saying, I mean, look at the values. If we really had to, we could sell shop and make an absolute killing. But what we will be trying to do is trying to keep hold of these players. But you can guarantee that before long, we'll have teams knocking on our door that they want to join, and there'll be very little that we can do about it. We've got Mohamedou Diawara, who is again a free agent, 9 appearances. And then when you look at that, well, he's 27, and even then he's at 5.2 to 6.6 according to the game. Still could potentially get a little bit better than where he is. I've got Javier Hunt from RFC Tournai, and again, when you look at this, he's only been with us 22 days at this point, and he's there to give a little bit more depth within our goalkeeping. I mean, again, just look at the value. 21 to 28 million according to the game. Potentially could be a 5-star as well. And there we go. It was on a free. Then we've got Mazinho from GRE. Mazinho is a 3.5 to 5. Plays as one of our centre backs. Then we've got Jean Brossard from RCS Blanois. Again, look at those values. And then we've got Noah Decrane, who's very much a Kai Crampton. Now, you might have noticed that Kai actually wasn't within that list there. And that's because when we look at the actual player himself, he's no longer with us. So why is that then? Well, we actually sold him for 3.3 million. Now, that was our first time actually getting a couple of million for a player, and we actually sold him to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, that's purely because he was actually pulling in so much interest, he didn't want to actually renew any contracts with us. Have we got any more then coming in? Well, yes, at the minute, we're trying to get Noah Segers, we're trying to get Kurt Jacques, we're trying to get Maxime Rouvière. And again, when you look at that, nil value, and they're all in the right ages that we want. We want teenagers, because that's the kind of profile of player that we're going for. And again, like Noah can play on the right or left, which we needed just an extra little bit of depth in there, because we are getting a number of our players at this point becoming a little bit tired and needing resting. Kurt Jacques then, when players are attacking, and can also play on the left as well if we need him. Decent stats, to be fair. And especially if we put him out on the left. I mean, look at the dribbling. He's a 16. He's 17 determination, can play with both feet. He could be very, very good for us. And again, when you look at that on the right-hand side there, look at the pace, look at the acceleration. Natural fitness is also very good. Got decent finishing as well, to be fair. Work rate's a little bit low, but I wouldn't say it's horrendous by any stretch of imagination. And then somehow he's got a goalkeeper rating of 3. And then Maxime Rouvière then. Well, again, I mean, look, determination 16. Look at the acceleration, agility, natural fitness, the pace. He's a little bit more nervous with the left foot than the previous because he's only down as reasonable on this. But again, I mean, look, crossing, dribbling, finishing's a little bit lower. The first touch passing technique's decent for what we're going to need. And again, a lot of these are on amateur contracts. So if we actually look then at the recruitment focuses that we've got set up, how we're finding these players, and because we know it's Belgium more so than not, just take a look at those players there. Look at the chunk of players that have got no value against them. Look at the ages. It's not surprising why we're trying to get these players, because even if we don't play them, we can potentially make some money from them. And again, given where we are, this is all about now trying to increase our reputation, increase and grow those attendances to help our bottom line each and every season. So where are we at then in terms of values? Well, look, we've got 1.8 million in the bank, and that's purely because we sold Kai Crampton for 3.3 alone. And you can see where that money's sat. Well, currently it's sat within our recruitment budgets. So if we actually had to spend on any particular player that we might want, we've got a decent chunk there to start looking for. Okay, so we're about to play Watford then in the Vertu Trophy final, and this is at Wembley. Now, this is how the team's currently going to line up. So I've got De Krijn in the net, I've got Mazinho, Folle, Ogwuche, Krings, Ulaneers, Michaud, Rouvière, Onyumbe, Layson, and Schmuder. Now, it looks bad that Rouvière has currently got a 4-star silver, and that's purely because when he's out of possession, they both drop into midfield rather than staying as wingers. So as you can see there, he's actually then going to drop backwards into one of these positions from where he is. So I'm not too worried about that. Now, we are playing against Watford, and Watford, when we look at the league itself, well, currently they've already been confirmed as being able to get a playoff position. We've got 6 games left now then. They're 6 points ahead of us, so it is theoretically possible to actually surpass them and get promotion, but it needs some results to come our way. There's only us and Lincoln in between with 2 points different. Now, we are actually tied with Wigan on points, and we're only 2 ahead of Peterborough. So it is looking a little bit congested at the top. And when you look at the goal difference as well, they're actually very similar to us too. So it looks like we've actually scored almost more than everybody else, but there are a couple of teams below that have scored in the 80s. We've actually only scored 73 at the minute with a 45 against, which is purely why we're up where we are. The teams that have scored 80s have actually had more goals against them than we have. So let's get on to this then. Let's just see how well or how poorly this is going to go. So we're going to tell them the old Watford after what happened in the last match, go out and get some revenge. And that's just the sort of reaction we want. We want them to be inspired. We want them to be up for this. Now, a lot of them are actually lacking match sharpness, and that's purely because fatigue was starting to get to us. So as a result of that, I actually then allowed them all to have some time off, especially in between where we didn't have any games. It just helped them recover a little bit. So we're at Wembley then. And there's our 4-2-3-1. And Watford are actually playing a different to what we would expect. So let's kick off then and see how this goes. Watford with the kick-off then. So we are playing unbalanced as it stands too, just because we don't want to overcommit, and we also don't want to sit too far back too. Early highlight then comes to nothing. Highlight then looks like it's for us. Kring's just running down the side, just holds back and passes it back to Michaud. He plays it forward to Layson. Layson into the middle to Ulaneers. He plays it out wide to Mazinho, just waiting for the ball. Knocks it on, runs down the wing a little bit further. Just manages to skin his man there. Is he going to put a cross in? Yes, he is. Cross as far as Schmuder, and Schmuder heads it in. Not particularly challenged by anybody from Watford. But we are, as we would expect for stuff like this, we're going to praise the team because it deserves it. Mazinho here then, as you can see, wasn't sure whether he'd actually run this too far at this point now, but he just manages to get the ball and manages to get it in. Schmuder just actually gets between both of the defenders there and just manages to slot it past. With the highlight then for us, Onyumbe just passes a wayward pass there, and Watford then recover the ball. Keeper kicks it long, but only as far as Ogwuche, who heads it, but really should have brought it down. So Watford just managed to get control of the ball. Now we've got a one-on-one here with our keeper. Keeper does well there. Decren does very well not to concede. So we've got another highlight then for Watford here. Peixoto plays it out to Duru on the left, who's just left clear. Nobody wants to actually put a challenge in. O'Neill's lets him run past. Ball comes across. Tapping. You could see that coming a mile away. So highlight then for us by the look of things. Misho with the ball. Schmulder plays it back to Foley. Foley out to Oguchi. Through to Layson. Layson plays it through to Onyumbe. Onyumbe just slots it past the keeper. Makes it 2-1 to Colne. Fantastic. And just before half-time too. So let's praise the team for that one. And we'll just see the ball again then from Oguchi. Layson, you can just see the run being made now at this point. Defenders just leading wide open. Keeper comes to try and clear it. Just puts it down the left-hand side. Half-time then. Let's just see what we can do. Address the team. Going to make sure we need to see things out at this point. Because the trophy will absolutely be ours. Currently looking at the team then, there's a few that look like they're a little bit puffing, but other than that, not too bad. Second half underway and Colne have the kickoff. Free kick then for Colne. See what we can get. Layson to take it. He's going to cross a shoot. Cross comes in towards the back post, gets headed only as far as Onyumbe, who has a shot, just misses. Very unlucky. That would have been a spectacular goal. Misho with it now then. Has a shot. Newton just saves and keeps hold of it. Let's just see how that worked then. So Gore driving down the right then. Just plays it through to Clark. That reminds me of a real Patterson. Foul ball. Clark puts it in. No chance. Who was that then? Ole just absolutely leaves his man to run across him. Puts the ball in. I doubt it, and this looks very bad considering this is the last action of the game and this is for Watford. Darrington then with the ball. Plays it forward. I think the referee has just called time on normal time. Slightly interesting. Let's see if we can fire him up by saying we're not particularly happy with that, because that was very near the end where Watford scored. That looks fired up, seems motivated. That's just the kind of reaction that we need now at this point. So let's head to extra time. Watford with the ball then. Just a reminder that we are playing on very attacking as it stands. Rouvier and or Schmulder probably want to be subbed as well. Fantastic play from Watford there. We're actually lucky not to concede it. Halfway through then, second half, and then it'll be penalties. So we've got kick-off this time round. Starts with a ball. Opts to try and take his man on, but Gore just collects the ball, no problem. Newton with it then. Watford about to start making a break. Duru out on the left. He's just going to cut back inside. He's probably going to have a shot. Mazinho just manages to take the ball from him. Shot comes in. Deflection. Corner. Ball comes in. Donovan just manages to hook it a bit further out. Duru to collect. Mazinho, Stas. Stas kicks it forward, not sure why, just dumps it. Probably could have kept hold of the ball a little bit then. Char with it for Watford. Gore now. Through to Duro. Some nice play for Watford here. Can see a goal coming. No way. No way. What is that? Just as I say, I can see a goal coming. It absolutely happens. And it's about to see us get knocked out in the last few minutes of extra time. Jesus. There we have it. Heartbreak at the end. Just simply not good enough. We let the lead slip and got punished at the end. We don't need to see this, so let's just continue that. Address the team. Unacceptable, we couldn't bring it home with a win today. We absolutely should have absolutely destroyed that. But we got hammered instead. Is that our youthfulness? Could well be. I mean, look at that. We were 2-1 up, and then towards the end, that's where we absolutely just got punished. And then just for that, we get 54,000, a little pittance compared to the money that we've got in terms of players. So only near the end now, then we've got another 5-6 games left. And let's see what we can do from there. And there we have it. The final game's been played, and we've just overtaken Watford on the final game of the season. I mean, we've been fighting very, very close for these last few games now, and it's purely now down to the goals that we've scored. It has to be. So you can see from the last 5 that we've won them all. Watford have been dropping points, which allowed us to get back into it. And then actually, when you look at the goal difference, well, it's actually even. We've scored 96 goals, conceded 51. Watford scored 81, conceded 36. Now, that's one heck of a defensive record to just concede 36. Wow. I mean, look at that there. We scored 2 goals in injury time. Now, that was absolutely key to us winning the league. And if Stas hadn't done that, we'd have ended up being second. So the usual then, when it comes to the end of the season, we'll just allow this to progress a little bit further. We'll get a couple of messages about expectations for next season, but I'll do that under a separate episode. So Con received 26,000 for achieving first place in League One. That seems extremely low to me. Now, look at the finances though. We're in the red by 328,000. I'm surprised the board at this point, having sold a player or two, that they've not actually wanted some of that transfer budget. But I'll take it nonetheless. That's a good message to see as well, that squad planning for next season, we don't have any positional issues. So as long as we get some fantastic players in, or maybe just the odd one that we can actually improve massively on, maybe put some of the kids that we've got from Belgium out on loan to help them develop while we play our strongest version of ourselves. That remains to be seen. So here's our end of season review then. Well, the 32-32 season's now finished. Everyone at the club's reflecting on the campaign while already looking forward to next season. To summarise, the board are delighted with leadership qualities that we're demonstrating, which I won't be surprised considering the promotions that we've had. The fans are pleased with the performance in the transfer market, but the board are continuing to evaluate decisions before passing for full judgment, which I guess is fair because at the minute they're seeing a lot of these young kids come in and not really seeing much more other than that at the minute. The board are very pleased with the progress towards the overall vision and also recognise improvements made to the club's stature. Now, I'd absolutely expect that to be the case considering that we're getting to finals of trophies. There's the expectations meeting, which we'll do that in the next episode. Springs and Foley want new deals. Let's say, yep, no problem. Star player is probably a bit of a reach right now. Never going to accept squad player. I didn't think so. That's all we'll accept. So star player it is then, because what we don't want to do is upset them at this point. I never like half of this stuff underneath. So let's just get rid of some of this. Don't need a relegation clause, but they're expecting one to be there. So let's just put that to 15 million then. Winning the Carabao Cup, can't imagine us doing that. Winning the Skybet Championship Players Select, sure. Top promotion wage rise, absolutely not. Appearance fee, no. Clean sheet, maybe. Unused sub, no. Let's try and dial some of that back a little bit too. So again, it wants 7,000. What about 6.5? We're going to hold firm at 6.5 there for another 4-year deal. So that'd be fantastic if that comes in. So we want to say about the championship. Well, I don't think we're going to go back-to-back promotions because we were very lucky this time round, to be fair, not to have to go back to the playoffs. So we might just tell them about the playoffs next time round. At least try and show some. Okay then. Let's just say for automatic promotion then. Fair enough, they're happy with that, cool. That'll do. Don't want to talk about anything else on there. And then when we look at this then, what have we got left in terms of the net debt for the upgrades and things that we've had to do over the seasons? Well, again, the board could absolutely clear this in one simple tick. They could just take about $1.5 million off me, and that'd clear this no problem. Because I mean, when you look at these 2038 and 2041 to actually pay these off, that seems a little excessive to me. But there we have it. End of the League One. season. Next time round, we'll be in the Sky Bet Championship and just one step from the big time, from the Premier League. And that's where it's absolutely going to get very, very interesting. I'd like to think that through the next season, a lot of our kids will be good enough to actually maintain a position in the Premier League, but we'll have to see. And I'm pretty sure that throughout next season, we'll probably be able to get a few more cut price players in to be able to develop. Or if things go well, we could probably turn to Belgium a couple more times to see what we can do from that. I've been BenUnlocked, and until next time, please subscribe, comment, like the video, and I'll see you again.